What's up guys, welcome back to Doob's Booze Reviews. This week we are having a Chivas Regal experience. So like we did with the Suntory whiskey experience, you can check out that video up there. We are doing the Chivas Regal experience. We're looking at their 12-year, their extra, which is their extra 13-year, and then we're looking at their 18-year as well. So we're gonna do them all in a line, and I'm gonna kind of do it as quickly as possible and give little review notes. So let's get started. We're starting off with Chivas Regal 12. I've already done a full review of that one. You can check out that one up there, but we're just gonna quickly go through it and just kind of review some of the tasting notes. It's got really nice wood notes. You get that caramel and that chocolate. You get a little bit of banana flavor in there, but nothing like a Jack Daniels or a Tennessee whiskey or something like that. It's very much Scotch style. Definitely oaky for sure, but not very smoky at all. Just nice oak. You get some caramel and chocolate, a little bit of spiciness in there too. Pretty straightforward. Not super smoky like a Johnny Walker, has a little bit of that smoky kind of Isla flavor in there. This doesn't have that. Good cocktail for this. I would probably use this in a scotch toddy. I think that would be really good because the lemon juice and whatnot would work really well with those fruity notes, and then the oakiness with the spices would go really well together. So I think that would be really good, especially with some honey in there. That would be really delicious. A good price point, you're gonna spend about $30 to $35 for Chivas Regal 12. Overall, really nice blended scotch, especially if you don't like kind of the smoky peaty note of some other blended scotches that use a little bit of like an Isla whiskey in their scotches. This one doesn't have that. So you're just gonna get that Highland and Speyside flavors rather than that Isla flavor. Next, we have the Chivas Regal Extra. This is Chivas Regal Extra. This is their 13-year, which is named after the 13 King Street Emporium that the Chivas brothers had, where they traded a bunch of spices, herbs, liqueurs, things like that. This is aged in Oloroso sherry casks. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. It's gonna have definitely a different flavor to it. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's really nice. That Oloroso sherry comes through very nicely. It brings across kind of a charred oak barrel flavor, but then it has these rich like dark chocolate cherry kind of fruity notes to it, which is really nice. That's real different than the 12, which is cool. It still has that like Chivas Regal kind of blend flavor to it though. Little touch of banana. Maybe it's that like Scotch banana flavor that's like kind of this Chivas signature, I guess. This one, the cherry comes out a lot more than the 12. Yeah, the cherry comes out a lot more and there's more charred barrel flavor. This one definitely also burns in different areas than the 12, which is kind of interesting. Hi. You guys want to see one of my cats? This is Yorick. This is our big boy. You get the cherry notes, you get that sherry that comes through really nicely. It brings kind of like a chocolate cherry flavor, but then there's kind of an earthiness that comes through on the back end. Definitely a lot darker flavor than the 12-year. I think this would make a really interesting Rob Roy. The sherry notes would go really well with the sweet vermouth, and those chocolate notes would come through really nicely. The bitters would add just a little bit more spices in there and allow that earthiness to shine. However, those sherry notes might get lost in the sweet vermouth, so it might just kind of give a little bit more of what it already has. A Godfather, I think, would also be a really interesting cocktail for this, just because that amaretto is going to add a different flavor and a little bit of sweetness to this, and that would allow those sherry notes to really come alive. A good price point. This one is very similar. You're going to spend about $35. It's kind of probably $5 more than the 12. If you can find it for 30, definitely pick up a bottle, but you're going to spend about 35 bucks, maybe 40 bucks for this bottle. And I'm talking about a 750, not the 50 milliliter that I'm tasting. Let's try the 18-year. This is Chivas Regal 18. This is their 18-year-old blended scotch. It's gonna have a lot more maturation to it. I'm expecting more oaky notes. Let's give it a try. Apparently the master distillers say that they can find 85 different tasting notes in this scotch whiskey. This one's a little bit more subtle in the flavor. You just kind of get oak right up front, but there's a lot of really interesting flavors going on that are way more subtle. You get chocolate, caramel, some floral notes, maybe a little rose in there. Very subtle. Again, a little bit of almost almond butter. That's a little sweeter than the other ones. The Oloroso Sherry Cask one, you got cherry. You like Cherry Garcia type of a, like Ben & Jerry's, you know that? Like cherries and chocolate, very much so. This one, you get, the cherry's more raspberry. It's more raspberry notes as far as like that. And raspberries can sometimes have kind of a rose floral feel to it. And this one definitely has that. So that's what I'm getting kind of the floralness from. Florally-ness. You know. Very caramely. You get kind of all the aspects of caramel except burnt caramel. You don't get burnt caramel, but you get like fruity caramel, some sugar cane, you get just straight caramel. Fruity chocolate, little touch of smoke, like charred oak smoke. There's a lot of little flavors in there that keep kind of coming up and going away and coming up and going away. It's pretty smooth too. There's a lot of other little things. Strawberry, you'll get some fruity, some grassy, some oaky, you get some char. There's a lot of little flavors. A good cocktail for this one. Honestly, because you're spending about $70 for this one, I would sip on it neat. If anything, I would use it in an old fashioned just because you could just kind of sweeten it up a little bit, which it doesn't really need that much sweetness because it's already a little bit sweet on its own. Yeah, you could use it in that or even just like a highball, just throwing some soda water over top so you can still let those flavors come through. But honestly, I would just sip it neat around the rocks because there's a lot of flavors going on in here. A good price point, you're gonna be spending about $70 or $80 for a full size of this bottle. Very nice though. There's a lot of different flavors in there. If you really wanna kind of sit down and just like figure something out for a while, this one's a really fun one to just kind of like almost meditate into. Very good. Nice chocolatey notes. Yeah, that 18 is quite nice. That's quite delicious. Thank you guys for being a part of my Chivas Regal experience. And yeah, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to hit that bell notification in case I come out with something that you're really interested in, then you can stay informed. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.